So what did we find with our proof of concept? Well, not only did we have 36,000 fewer documents to review based on the TextIQ model, but we also found greater accuracy in the TextIQ model. For one thing, TextIQ found a bunch of documents that were privileged that didn't get hit by our privilege screen. Ultimately, approximately 100 documents that our standard privilege screen missed. Looking at the ones that actually turned out to be responsive, about 50 documents ended up being responsive that our privilege screen missed. In other words, if we'd only relied on a privilege screen, we would have inadvertently produced to the other side 50 responsive privileged documents. So it was more accurate and cut down that risk of producing privileged documents. In addition, we compared that to whether TextIQ's system missed anything, and we found that 99.9% of the privileged, more than 99.9% of the privileged documents were actually identified by TextIQ. There were two true misses in terms of documents that got through TextIQ, and I think after that they adjusted the platform so that it would have caught those documents as well. So we were gaining two things we found from the proof of concept. Number one, saving money by eliminating 36,000 documents that otherwise would have required human review. And secondly, cutting down on risk by cutting down the risk of producing privileged documents on the magnitude of 25 times more privileged documents would have been produced using the traditional privilege screen. And there's a third benefit that's deserving of mention too. The TextIQ product not only identified the privileged documents, but it also prepared draft privilege descriptions for each of the documents withheld as privileged. And we found those descriptions to be really good. We have some coding that we do when we're doing our review that will automatically insert some boilerplate that we then can edit to create a privilege log. But the text that was prepared by the privilege TextIQ engine was actually much better than our boilerplate in terms of describing the privileged documents. So it reduces editing time and cost. So I would say those were the three big advantages we noticed. Cost savings in having fewer documents to review, cost savings in having less editing of the privilege log, and reduced risk in terms of identifying privileged documents that a typical privilege screen would miss.